Act 3, Chapter 1120 has a deep connection with a certain arc. Did you notice? It's a Sky Island arc. Understanding this connection might help us predict what Vegapunk was trying to say at the end. Hi, welcome to my secret channel. I'm Lunapienart, running the channel Dusk. Thank you to everyone who has patiently waited for this video. Since I'm involved in translating manga and sometimes submitting them to publishers, I can't fully explain the latest chapter until Monday. However, I strive to cover these disadvantages by sharing information that you might not have heard before. In this video, I'll provide a detailed explanation of the difficult to translate parts of chapter 1120 from Japanese native perspective, as well as my personal thoughts. Please feel free to share your thoughts, because one of my goals is connecting Japanese community and world community in one piece. Anyway, first of all, let's have a look at his name, Clau D Clover. It has been revealed that Clover's full name is Clau D Clover. I think this is a significant discovery. Just as Goldie Roger was read as Gold Roger, Clover can be read as Cloud Clover. I believe that his last name, Cloud, hints at a close relationship between Zou, Ohara, and Sky Island. In conclusion, I think it's possible that Clover's ancestors were from Sky Island. I know, sounds strange, but I can explain it. First, let's look at the city on Zou called Kurauto. The kanji to means city or capital, and Kurau is exactly the same as Clover's last name, Kurau. The one carrying Kurau capital on its back is Zunisha, whose favorite food is Sky Island apples. Furthermore, Zunisha's biological name is Naitamie Norida Zou. When you read it backwards, it becomes Dari no e mitai na Zou, which is inspired by the painting Elephants by the surrealist painter Salvador Dali. I used to live in Italy and studied modern art from the 8th to 20th centuries, so this is very familiar to me. The weak legs and strong back of the elephant in Dali's painting create a contrast, suggesting that even a heavy elephant can float easily in the weightless space of the universe. This suggests that the giant Zunisha may have descended from Sky Island in some way. And the name Mokomo Kokoku, which means Mokomo Dukedom, itself contains Mokomoko, an onomatopoeia that describes the softness of clouds, hinting at the deep connection between Zunisha and Sky Island. By the way, the onomatopoeia Mokomoko was used when Rouge enlarged himself. It might be that he has the Mokomoko no Mi, which increases muscle mass like clouds. There is also a connection between Sky Island and Ohara. First, simply, Clover is from Ohara. According to Shaka, Ohara became a sanctuary for archaeology. Because the world's greatest archaeologist, Dr. Clover, inspired archaeologists from over the world to gather there. There is a symbol given to those who become scholars in Ohara, which I believe has deeper meanings. Who comes to mind this symbol? This symbol is clearly reminiscent of an umbilical cord, fitting with the theme of mother and child in Robin's backstory. But what does this have to do with Sky Island? You might have remembered their greetings. Heso. Heso means belly button. The exact meaning of this greeting is still unclear, but if Clover's ancestor originally lived in the Sky Island and passed down the importance of the belly button for generations, it makes sense that this mark would be used as color symbol. In Japan, there's a superstition that goes, 雷様にへそを取られる. The thunder god will take your belly button. Can anyone predict why this superstition was spread? One major reason is the idea that if you hide your belly button, you naturally hunch over. Like this. Lightning tends to strike higher objects, so hunching over might make it less likely for lightning to strike you. This seems to reflect the relationship between Enel, the absolute god in Skypiea, and the people who lived in fear of him, greeting with Heso. By the way, this story can also apply to Blue Planet. The word for thunder, kaminari, can be written in different kanji to mean I'm God. This was a Japanese wordplay used when Enel appeared. Ware wa kaminari. This kaminari is literally means I'm thunder or I'm a god. And in front of the celestial dragons who are considered gods on Blue Planet, people can only hide their belly buttons like this. The archaeologists bearing the mark of the umbilical cord were erased by the world government. Literally, the god took their belly buttons. There's another interesting wordplay. The word ohara. If you write it in kanji, it becomes like this, which means belly. And of course, the belly has a belly button. In this chapter, the theme of voice is emphasized in many places. 過去から声が聞こえてくるんじゃ. We can hear the voice from the past. This is what Clover mentioned to Vegapunk, and Vegapunk echoed the exact same sentiment in his broadcast. On the last page, Vegapunk also states that the Roger pirates heard the purest voice from the past. Additionally, only Luffy could directly hear the voice of Emmett. The contrast between Robin shedding tears upon hearing Vegapunk's voice and Luffy not understanding the meaning of Emmett's voice is also intriguing. This suggests two types of themes related to voices. The voices that convey history through the poneglyphs, and the power to hear the voice of all things. 万物の声を聞く力. Incidentally, the ability to hear these voices was highlighted during the Sky Island arc. Characters like Enel and Aisa could hear people's voice from afar. The priests could hear the voice of the gods. The chieftain couldn't hear the voice of the gods, but could hear the voice of the diligent people. The great bell transmitted the voice saying, "We are here." 俺たちはここにいる. The angels could hear the island song. Toward the end of the Skypiea arc, Luffy conveyed the message the Golden City was in the sky to Cricket. Robin could also hear the voice from the past through the poneglyph and Roger's message. Thus, voices were an essential theme in the Sky Island arc. In this chapter, only Luffy could hear Emmett's voice. This suggests that Emmett, like Zunisha and the Sea Kings, is a mysterious creature with a will of its own. This ability likely comes from the same power Roger had, the power to hear voice of all things. 万物の声を聞く力. While there is no official definition yet, it seems that the power to hear the voice of all things can be considered a special type of observation haki. Only certain individuals can hear these voices, such as Zunisha, Sea Kings, and Ms. Roger, Oden, Momonosuke, Shirahoshi, and Luffy are among them. What they have in common is their ability to use observation haki. It appears that certain special lineages like the D clan and the Kozuki family can hear the voice of all things across generations. However, this chapter raises a significant question. MS seems to recognize Luffy as Joy Boy. This is likely because Joy Boy was a previous user of Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. MS probably identifies Luffy as Joy Boy through the rhythm and presence produced by Nika's abilities. Similarly, Zunisha also felt as if Joy Boy was there. As I mentioned in the previous video, this unique don dot 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 rhythm seems to give inanimate objects a soul. The soul created in this way recognizes Joy Boy's rhythm, which is why MF mistakes Luffy for Joy Boy. Since this channel is made for viewers all over the world, many of you might not be familiar with the concept of soul in Japanese culture. However, in the world of One Piece, Vegapunk asserts that the soul exists. And in the Sky Island arc, Kalgara explained that the sound of the Great Bell brings back the soul of ancestors. It's clear that the music and soul are closely connected in this context. By the way, MF's line, お前の敵は俺の敵, your enemy is my enemy, is quite similar in tone to the famous phrase, お前のものは俺のもの, what's yours is mine, said by Giant, a character from the manga Doraemon. Additionally, the most famous phrase from Doraemon's theme song is I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. Vegapunk has echoed a similar statement. ああなれたらいいな、こうなれたらいいな. I wish I could become like this, I wish I could become like that. In fact, Egghead Island's concept is somewhat similar to Doraemon's. Doraemon is a robotic raccoon dog from the future who uses 22nd century technology to make dreams come true, while Vegapunk is a scientist who brings technology from 500 years into the future. In the end of this chapter, Vegapunk concludes with I foresee the future this way, and the chapter comes to a close. What future did Vegapunk predict? In my view, it's simply that the massive war between the world government and the D clan, which should have ended 800 years ago, will happen again. I believe Vegapunk will convey two key messages to the people of the world. One is famous quote from the Sky Island arc spoken by Konis. In my opinion, this is one of the best quotes in One Piece. 被害者だとうずくまれば生きていられた今までとは違う。動かなければ後から誰かを恨んでも自分の命は守れない。As long as you cower and claim to be a victim, you may live another day. But if you don't act, no matter who you blame later, your life won't be spared. 国を捨てる決断を。Make the decision to abandon your country. Vegapunk will likely urge citizens to make the decisions to abandon their country and to escape to the sky or high places like mountains. However, reaching Sky Island involves a dangerous knock-up stream or a perilous high west peak, which is certain to result in casualties. On Egghead Island, there are things like Sky Islands and rockets. It's possible that Vegapunk developed these technologies to evacuate people to the sky in anticipation of such a future. The reappearance of the Skypians and Rouge might come to in the context. Just as they once tried to flee to the Blue Sea, now the people of the Blue Sea will seek their help. However, in reality, it's difficult for everyone to escape to the sky. That's why I think Vegapunk will offer another choice, deciding whether to side with world government or the pirates. In his broadcasts, Vegapunk hasn't labeled the world government as purely evil or Joy Boy as purely good. In this chapter, he even says that hearing about old conflicts from only one perspective is foolish. Similarly, when someone asks Luffy, "Are you a bad guy because you are a pirate?" his typical response is, "Just you decide." Like, お前が決めろ. So the people around the world will have to choose which side to support in the upcoming battle. For those who decide to with the world government, one opinion might be board navy warships or climb the red line. However, those who climb the red line face a high risk of being enslaved or killed. On the other hand, those who decide to side with the pirates will likely board one of many pirates' ships. Within the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, Orom's fleet could potentially serve as a temporary refuge for the ordinary citizens. There is also a third option. Some may choose to join Revolutionary Army, representing the people's will. If you were a resident of the world of One Piece, which option would you choose? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, thank you for those who is watching this video until here. Now this channel is growing fast. That's why I'm thinking having a project through this channel. I'll inform you about this, so please stay tuned. I hope to create the community to connect the people of the world. See you next time.